You are right up my street.
Oh, you can't make me choose.
Igo by Toyota sponsors T4.
Fuck me, Lee Ryan's 13.
I remember we couldn't remember the word for table.
This is Your Welcome America Presents Search for the Next Doll, otherwise known as Your Welcome America Presents Pussycat Dolls Presents Search for the Next Doll.
Ooh, episode 5.
Oh yeah, we've made it all the way to episode 5.
How many episodes are there in total? I keep on forgetting.
There's 8 episodes in total,
Okay,
and
good.
I would say that if I had to sum up this episode in kind of a shortened version for everyone, is kind of the sexy fat shaming episode.
We're off to Vegas, aren't we, in this one?
Oh, bloody hell, are we? Now, I have to do a bit of a disclaimer. Whoever the beautiful soul is that uploaded all these episodes to YouTube clearly had some copyright issue from the estate of Miss Aguilera and couldn't include any of Mariella and Chelsea singing I Turn to You in this episode. So there are a couple of things missing from this episode, but I get the feeling that you and I might be singing that song anyway.
Well, I mean, every time we get out the mics to do a podcast recording, just for listeners out there, it's a microphone and stand with like a circular sort of foam thing in front of it. I refer to it in my head as my turn to you mic. So we will be singing and we'll be doing it.
Exactly. And it is duets this week. So
Perfect. Let's do a recap of last week. Asia, she was trying to steer clear of trouble. She was just like, she's not going to get her foot in it. That's what was going on. Melissa S. struggled. Cicely didn't fit in, and therefore she had to hang up her boa. And, this is something I just noticed, because you know how every week I've been struggling with everyone's names and who everyone is? The titles for every episode don't update. So it still has like all like the images and names of all the girls who've gone. So every time I start an episode, I'm like, okay, I'm going to remember who's in it. I'm going to remember who's in it. And I'm like, Anna? Who's Anna? Do you know what I mean? Be like all these different names.
There was never anyone called Anna.
And there's an Anastasia.
Anastasia, she's still in it. But yes, I know what you mean, because I did get to see my long and forgotten queen, Big Head Brittany, from episode 1, who I loved.
Early mornings, long rehearsal, and 24-hour commitment.
Work it.
Don't dance like this. Out of here. Now the competition really begins.
So yes, so we come back and it's straight after Cicely, aka What's Debbie Harry Doing in the Pussycat Dolls, has left the competition. And we have a great, your favorite thing, which is Melissa R saying, we're the final 6. I know you love when people inexplicably call themselves the something with a number.
Yeah. It's like, I'm going to top 5. Yeah. Final 4, top 3, 5 and onwards. I'm okay with. 6 isn't a thing.
No, it absolutely isn't.
And speaking of the final 6, we've got left Anastasia, Chelsea, Melissa R, Melissa S, Mariella, and Asia. I'm still not going to remember anyone because we've got 2 Melissas. So I need a Melissa destroyed.
2 Melissas and a Mariella, that's a lot to take in one episode.
Yeah. A lot of M's and L's and L's going on. Yes.
So Melissa S does a little bit of chit-chattery about, what it's like being in the bottom 2. That's a phrase that does exist.
Yes. And she's been in the bottom 2 twice now, hasn't she?
Yeah.
So they're really leading this episode like, oh, is she going to be the next one out? She's failed twice. That's what they're kind of sowing the seeds for.
Yeah, and she's not.
Before we properly get into it, there's a little something I noticed, and that is on the back of all the beds, on the bed boards, the headboards of the bed. What is hanging there? It's the feather boas. That's where they live during the week.
Oh, that feels like a mistake.
I saw one just like strung up like some Christmas lights.
They need to be put on a rack in wardrobe at the Pussycat Dolls Lounge on the Sunset Strip after every episode. They can't be just flouncing. Well, no wonder we were saying that they've got like 20 in reserve, aren't we? So
of course they do. Of course they do. And this is before the days of Febreze. So they had to just like, as soon as one got like a little bit of glitter and sweat and fake tan, it was dumped in the bin. And they were probably like, actually, do you know what? You can take this one home. They're like, I'll take it back to the loft. I hang it on my headboard. Maybe that's what's going on.
When was Febreze invented?
Oh, I don't know. Should I look it up? I just feel.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Febreze Revolution when it really
Yeah.
came into play? And you're like, what is this?
The Febreze-olution.
Actually, I think Febreze might have been earlier in this. Maybe I'm wrong. Febreze history. Oh no, it was introduced in 1996. Not in Scotland.
What?
It wasn't. Not in Scotland. It was early 2000s in Scotland.
Yeah, I don't feel like it. I feel like it came around in the 2000s. Maybe it was invented in 96, but they're lying to us.
So now that I've got that really important piece of info out of the way, both in terms of feather boa storage and the origins of Febreze, what do you want to lead with?
Okay, so we start. So we hear from Anastasia, and this is tough because this is the beginning of the theme with her that runs through the episode. And she basically said she's really feeling the pressure of the competition, and then she says, "Well, I really need to work on my physique because I've been eating a lot of cake." Oh God! So they're all sitting around and kind of talking, and she gets up and she says, "Oh, I'm gonna." Is this where she says, I'm going to go and eat something and then do some cardio?
Well, I think just before this, she says to the others, you girls are small. And it's like a real different era of a phrase, because imagine in the year 2021 wanting to be small.
Yeah, because Anastasia's body is amazing, and it's so strange because she means short as well, doesn't she? Because she's much taller than the rest of them, on top of being just like a more like muscular woman, basically.
Yeah, the others are little bird-like creatures who might peck at a sandwich, but yeah, she is a different creature, and a beautiful one at that.
Yeah. So she says, "Oh, I'm going to have something to eat, and then I'm going to go and do some cardio." And then Chelsea says, "Walking to the kitchen is your cardio, is it?" It's like, all right, Chelsea.
Oh.
And then that's when we have an interview with Chelsea where she kind of starts talking about, Anastasia's struggling with putting on a bit of weight, and, she's eating a lot. And Chelsea keeps kind of being like, "Oh, as someone who used to, had a problem with their weight before, I totally understand it, blah, blah, blah." But it felt like it was coming from a not great place with Chelsea.
Yeah.
Like she was being like not very like the words sounded understanding, the words were, but like the way she was saying it was kind of like super judgmental.
Also coming from a not great place would be that supercut of Anastasia eating, which was really unfair. It was essentially just any time she'd ever eaten anything on the show.
Yeah, because she's wearing a different outfit, wasn't it? And like everything.
It's like she's eating an apple. And just like constant, like different things that she's eating because they're there, I don't know, for like 6 weeks and they need to eat. Yeah, it was pretty gross. But you know what? Something interrupts this. And that's the phrase, you guys, we have a play me sign now. What is this? Another new format? Or is this the same one as the floppy card?
Yeah, this is the same one from last week. So I think we're now sticking with, guys, we have a play me sign.
Like, sure.
Really, really missed out on so many like Pussycat doll related things that they could have done. But
what about? Oh, okay. I've got a new pitch for one. What about? Oh, we need to push this button, and then it goes into buttons. They push it, and it goes into buttons, and then like the Pussycat dolls appear on screen.
Okay, I have one.
Okay,
it's a big litter tray. And the girls have to like root around in it until they find the remote that's shaped like a cat poo, and then they turn it on and it turns on the screen.
That feels like a really great quick challenge. Like you can imagine just oh my god, what the fuck's her name?
Robin?
Robin. You can imagine Robin just like stomping. I mean, Robin's got her own key to that loft, doesn't she? In fact, she probably owns it and is renting out to production. But she just storms in and is like, "Over here, girls, in the litter tray, fight first to find the whatever." You know what I mean?
So we the play me sign is there, and we get a message from the dolls. I just wrote wild outfits. There was a lot happening with these outfits. Mainly I'm going to talk about Melody's outfit.
Okay.
She was wearing like a short red, I described it as a scoop neck club dress and fedora.
Scoop neck club. That's good to have in the club because you might, if you dropped something, it just get caught in the swoop neck. You know what I mean? If you're like doing a shot and you drop it, it just goes in there like a well, like a trough of liquor.
Yeah. So she looks, they all look insane. And as always, one of them is perched like fully on something like, and I think it's Jessica. She's kind of reclined and she's wearing like a Sandra D at the end of Grease outfit.
Perfect. Now what they say to us is, confidence is very sexy. Now it's time for you to show us your sexiness. It's like, wait a minute, is this about confidence or is it about sexiness? Which one's it about? They're both the same thing. Sexiness.
Oh, haven't we had confidence? See, we should have kept a running tally of what words we've had so far, because now I think
should we?
we've had confidence.
Should we? I think it's just all like next week it's going to be like strength is key to beauty. So this challenge is all about beauty. Like, it's just the same words over and over.
Yeah. So I think it's Jessica. Sandra D tells us a pussycat doll doesn't try to be sexy. They just are. Okay.
So don't even bother. So there's no challenge here. Don't make an effort. Just be.
And then
CKB.
Beautiful fragrance. Oh my God, I loved CKB. And then Nicole tells us sexy is the way you carry yourself. Confidence is very sexy. Okay.
Beautiful.
Sure.
Okay. So they need to trot down to the dance studio. Now, in that dance studio, I don't know what season it is. I don't know what the AC is like in there, but Robin, she's in a cozy turtleneck.
Yeah, I said that she's actually being very subversive because this week's theme is sexy. And she's like, I'm going to wear a big jumper just to show you that you can be sexy in anything. And I'll tell you what, she did.
She looked great.
It had a sleeve situation, though, which you actually don't see until later in the episode. It's because they were filming her just from kind of the neck up. So it looked she was like wearing a regular turtleneck. But it did have, I believe it was a bat-winged turtleneck.
Oh, cool.
Like a bat-winged fluffy turtleneck, I believe she was wearing.
Now that...
Like she could have literally jumped off of the top of the Pussycat Doll Lounge and like flown like Batman, you know?
Oh, that's a good concept for a Pussycat Doll video, actually. Oh, actually, now we're verging on Ego by the Saturdays. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe that's like Poison by Nicole Scherzinger as well, right?
Yeah.
What a song.
Which is basically all inspired by this cozy turtleneck. That's what came first. So...
I got that poison.
So, Robin says... You're going to go to one of the sexiest cities in the world. And here to tell you all about it is the Pussycat Dolls manager, Jeff.
Wah, wah. Yeah.
Jeff is great here. He's like, I booked you a show in Vegas. Oh, Jeff, where have you booked it? At the Pussycat Dolls Lounge. Oh, Jeff, I wonder who you called up to book that. Did you just have like a quiet word with, Robin in the corner?
Well, he called himself.
Oh, he called himself. Got it.
He sent himself an email and said, sure, Jeff, come tonight. I'm sure it's definitely a regular night at the lounge and everyone there is just a patron that was wandering through the streets of Vegas. It didn't at all look like a load of like extras on weird stuffy chairs sitting in like an overlit room.
Oh my God. Imagine, okay, so we'll get there in a bit, but Caesar's Hotel, imagine if we'd been there that day at the Caesars, like by the pool or just having a drink, and they'd come up to us, like a producer would come up and be like, hey guys, we're doing a show tonight. I don't know if you want to be, we'd be like, what is this? They'd be like, oh, it's just an elimination competition involving the Pussycat Dolls. We'd be like, go.
Just fly like a rocket into the Pussycat Doll Lounge. So Jeff announces, yes, hey girls, I got you a gig at the Pussycat Doll Lounge. So he says, you're going to be performing Tainted Love, 2 giant thumbs down. You're going to be doing your own hair and makeup, and you'll be doing choreo and styling on the bus on the way there.
This is a great challenge.
Yes. But real quick, my next note, I hate Tainted Love, is what I said. I really hate this song.
Well, this is just all that era of... what, like Marilyn Manson had one. Didn't someone like Hilary Duff or someone do one as well? I feel like there's a poppy pop star who really did a version of it.
But it's this and You Spin Me Right Round are 2 80s songs that like make me so furious.
Also, when we'll get to it when they're singing, but the way that one could sing Tainted Love is very like, oh, Tainted Love. Oh, it's like, ooh, shudder. But... yeah. Let's just forget about that and let's just enjoy them in a bus. Well, actually, before we get to the bus, they're going to leave in an hour.
I know. As always, those poor girls are skittering around that loft trying to get their stuff packed.
Okay, so we get onto the bus. Actually, let me just double check. How long is that drive to Vegas? I just want to do some quick scouting. Hang on. Los Angeles to Las Vegas, 4 hours and 11 minutes.
Okay.
It's not bad. So we've got to learn a song. We're going to do some choreo. We're going to do some styling. We're going to do some hair and makeup. I think that's doable.
Yeah. It feels very risky with traffic, but I guess considering it didn't look like a real audience when they got there, everything was going to be fine, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we start on the bus and it's Mariella, and I said that she's pumped and she's listening to the song on her Discman.
Hope she's got ESP, electronic shock protection.
Was that on that yellow Discman, the really
Yes.
chunky one that had ESP on it, didn't
That
it?
real sporty one.
I feel like I listened to I Turn to You on a Discman, like for sure. So it's just kind of fun to think of all that coming together. But I'm getting ahead of myself here.
I love the idea of you listening to a sporty Discman doing some sort of like athletic event, but the song you're listening to is I Turn to You, and you're in a stadium, the crowd are going, go, go, go. And then your Discman's just, I turn to you.
Well, obviously, I'm listening to I Can Run to Obviously, it's that bit. That's really, don't you love, have you never done exercise to ballads before?
No, I don't think I have.
Oh my God. Next time you're on a hike, I strongly recommend, as you're really ascending to like the peak of like a hike here in LA, to listen to Celine Dion.
My Heart Will Go On.
Yes. So you put on My Heart Will Go On, and then you can kind of literally ascend to the peak as suddenly it's just literally just like, I honestly, I strongly recommend it, especially the version that has the electric guitar in it. You feel really, really powerful. Anyway, so the girls are on the bus. They're all very excited. And then Mikey slithers out from behind a curtain at the back of the bus.
Do you think he's been like hidden behind that curtain? He's maybe been like,
for sure.
I think he's been like hidden in like the toilet. There's like that one tiny little toilet door.
Exactly. He's been bumping around with like the camera equipment right in the back of the bus.
Yeah. Now, a few things to note on this bus. The art team have been busy. I feel like right as soon as this show was announced and the job was given to the art department, they were like, okay, we just need to know now which episode is the bus, because we just need to know what our lead up time is to the bus, because we're going to put a lot into the bus. Now, at one point, they're sitting inside, and it's a bus. Now, we should say it's like seats along the windows, long seats along the windows. It's that kind of bus.
Bench seating, if you will.
Bench seating. Now, behind the bench seating, one of the windows, it has like fun PCD curtains, but it's also got shelves on it with a display of shoes that I've noticed. Beautiful.
Oh, wow, I didn't notice that. Is that for when they style themselves later?
Oh,
or
maybe.
Get styled later?
Maybe. I think the art department have had their glue gun out and they really glued those shoes onto the shelves.
Right. I'm upset we didn't get a shot of one of the girls trying to grab a shoe from the rack and it being glued. That would have been fun.
Oh. I was just going to say, talking of shoes, I don't know if you noticed, but Chelsea Bangs, she's in a kind of a low, slouchy pirate boot that have stilettos.
Oh, those boots really terrorized the world for a time, didn't they? Hey, girls, are you under 6 foot? You want to look as schlumpy and dumpy as possible? Pop on this little slouchy little pirate boot. Don't worry, it has a heel. You're going to look so tall. No. Cut yourself off at the most awful part of your body. They were not a good thing.
And it was so unfair because yes, if you had like phenomenal traditionally skinny legs, you could look amazing in anything. But for the vast majority of the world, you don't need
to be pooling fabric around your ankles at any point in your life. So Mikey's slithered out from the curtain because he's going to be doing choreo with them on the bus. And I said, I'm pretty sure Pussycat Dolls don't learn their choreo from scratch on a bus. But what do I know? I feel like, yes, you might do some like last minute tweaks here and there. But to learn a routine from scratch on a bus feels like the girls are being set up for a disaster here.
Oh, I 100% agree. But you know what? I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm actually a television producer. And this is just, this is just some of the jiggery pokery that we pull at times.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, Mikey gets in his daily dig into Chelsea Bangs, and says, Chelsea, you're not doing it properly. You can't get it. It's like, all right, Mikey, we get it. Chelsea can't dance. Well, give it up.
Not in those low, slouchy pirate boots. Of course she can't dance.
Exactly. She's basically wearing like ankle weights.
Yeah, she's wearing ankle weights, and she is tripping up over that pooled fabric at the ankle.
So the girls are kind of learning choreo. They're all falling over the place. Everyone's laughing, having a good time. Then we get a very odd scene, another food-centric scene. So the girls almost like they break for lunch. And this is very odd scene where basically they're all kind of given out little boxes of lunch. And I think Chelsea gets offered turkey. We don't know, turkey sandwich, turkey salad. We don't know what production has stored in the back of the bus along with Mikey. And then, yeah, I didn't really kind of understand this scene. It was really just a chance for, I guess, them to start this storyline that Asia is a diva and kind of
Yeah.
like fussy and annoying. But I
It's
think,
more just that Asia is very, very young, and it seems like she's lived quite she hasn't been eating like sushi and all kinds of foods her whole life. So she essentially says at one point, she's like, I just basically want to have burgers or pizza. She just wants simple food.
yeah. And then at this point, Chelsea says she's PMSing, right? Which I loved the term PMSing.
Oh.
She said, yeah, she said she's PMSing, right? And then there was this very odd moment where they did an interview with Chelsea where she was like, Asia's losing her mind about the lunch. She's like saying this, this, and this. And then in reality, it was Asia going, oh, I don't really like this. Just like, it was the most innocuous, like one sentence about it. And then, yeah, there's an interview with Asia where she says, like, I don't eat health food. I don't eat like a bird. You know, I just eat like, yeah, like you said, like burger and fries. And I was like, well, keep doing that at 18 years old, honey, because by the time you reach the ripe old age of 37, you can't be having burgers and fries every day. Am I right, kid? My
Yes,
name's Jeff. I'm the Pussycat Dolls manager. You're at the lounge, kid. Eat a salad.
Now, speaking of maybe getting older in the years, back to Robin. Here she is in the bus, sitting there wearing some real buggy sunglasses. I just wrote, she looks great.
Again, where did she come from? It looked like she came up the stairs of the bus. So did she spend the whole time like clinging onto the outside of the bus and then came through the doors as they reached the point they needed her?
No. She was driving the bus, but then she pushed autopilot and then she came up.
Right. Okay. So at this moment, they're careening down the highway on autopilot.
Yeah. The thing is, I feel like every episode I grow to enjoy Robin more and more and actually respect her more and more. I wouldn't put it past her if at one point in the Pussycat Dolls career, she had to drive the bus. And she's like, I'll just do it. Yeah, I'm just going to drive the bus. And everyone's like, are you all right? She's like, yeah, I'm going to drive it overnight all the way across America and I'll be fine. She is helping the girls get styled.
Yes. Yes. So she says the theme for the styling is gold because they're going to be in Vegas. Sure. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
And we get kind of some quick flashes of the outfits, which are all these kind of basically, again, just a whole essentially just a range of gold spangly mini dresses.
Yes.
In so many different styles and you know, different fabrics, but every single one of them is cheap and short and gold.
And none of them would you want to get near a flame, let's just say, because it would melt onto your skin and your skin would never be the same again. In fact, you'd be stuck in that dress for life.
Yeah, you'd look like the woman in Goldfinger, all painted in gold.
Yeah. Didn't she die?
She did. So this is where they again do Anastasia super dirty. So this whole segment is like, oh my god, like she won't fit in the outfits, and it's all these really like wild shots where of making it look like she has like a dress stuck on her head, and you know them like trying to pull dresses down. It's like, well, all of the others look like they're like 5'5", and she looks like she's like 6 foot tall. So regardless of weight or body size or body shape or anything, of course that she can't be in the same outfits as the others. It's just the most basic logic, and it's just the most kind of 2008 way to do it, isn't it? It's so like gross.
And yeah, God, you can imagine a really grim producer being like, look, yeah, we've got all her outfits separately, but first of all, let's get her to try on these other ones. And then we'll bring out the other stuff.
Because she looked great in the performance, and you know, I take strong umbrage with Mikey for his comment during the performance. But anyway,
shall we
get a little closer?
Shall we get to Vegas?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we're at Caesar's Hotel in Vegas. Have we stayed there together? No.
But we have been in there together.
Have we?
Yeah, just like been inside that hotel together. Yeah, of course we have, inside the casino.
Oh yes, because we did gamble away all our money that one night.
I feel like we definitely have strutted through that lobby like the girls did.
Probably. Oh my god, how great would a Pussycat Dolls like gambling machine be?
Ooh, that would be great.
Again, push all the buttons.
I know. I completely couldn't think of a single. The only Pussycat Dolls song I could think of in that moment was "When I Grow Up, I Want to Be Famous." Didn't really work for her. Well, when I grow up, I want to be Vegas.
Perfect.
No. God, I love that song.
That song.
It's such a cheesy honky tonky song, isn't it? La, 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 la.
Okay.
Anyway,
So they get
I
to
see-
Vegas. They pull up at like, I don't know, probably like some back alley door, and they're all booted out and have to trot into the PCD lounge.
Yeah, and there's unfortunately someone has made the decision to have a couple of girls wear colored tights with a gold dress. Did you see that?
Yeah.
I think Mariella was wearing like a pink tight. It's like, is that because she's going to do the split standing up?
Maybe.
I bet that's what it was.
But she doesn't have to, they don't have to be pink though. But you know what? This is think of like the beginning of the Saturdays. You might have like a fun block color pink tight, wouldn't you?
Oh, like in the Up video.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Let's talk about the Pussycat Doll Lounge, because I wrote the note, it looks awful. It was, I mean, I get it was lit for TV, so that's unfortunate. But it was so bright, and seems to be like, if you go there, I didn't even see the tables like they have in the main kind of normal studio. It looked like a load of like banquet hall chairs had been like really overly plush banquet hall chairs had been shoved together too close for the audience to sit in. And then these like strange kind of like, to me, it looked like just a function room at Caesars that they threw a few banquet hall chairs in and called it the Pussycat Doll Lounge.
Well,
Thoughts, feelings?
Well, I know that the lounge did exist. It was a real thing that was there all the time. And I remember in later years walking past it, and by that point it closed down, and it was all a bit dusty and sort of, I don't know, was waiting for a reunion or something. But it did exist. I mean, I was too distracted by the fact that Robin is on stage talking to the audience and announcing the dolls like she's a narrator in a play.
Well, she did that very strange moment. Yeah, so she kind of was like, la da 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 da. And then obviously, yeah, the first line was part of the performance. So she kind of goes as if she's going to walk off, stops, puts one arm like really weirdly up, and then kind of hits her mark. And I was like, what is she doing? Is she going to do the dance with them? But then she did her weird introduction that was like, come on, girls, get to it, or something to that effect.
Yeah,
Did you write down what she said?
No, I didn't. But okay, it must be tainted love. Come on, girls. You know that all love is tainted.
Oh no, I've just realized I did write a note. This is what's even more wild, is that she did that pose, and instead of just it being that thing, it was her telling them that the audience were going to vote for the winner of the challenge. And then she walked off. So it wasn't even like part of the performance. She was literally like, girls, and just remember, tonight the audience is going to choose the winner, and then walked off. I was like, no, you should have done that in the bit where you were standing up there at the middle.
Yeah.
Then when you move to the side, that's when you do like, girls, how's your love? Is it tainted? Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah. Oh, God, if only we'd been there for, I mean, many reasons.
So many moments that you and me could have just saved this show.
I know. We could have looked after the boas. They didn't have to be, just hanging on their beds. Anyway, so Robin intros them. I have to say, I mean, it's hard not to, but just to comment on Robin's appearance once again, she looks gorgeous
Yeah.
in a black dress, and she's got the most glossy locks of all time. She looks amazing.
Yeah. I said she was dressed like an evil fairy.
I could see that. that. Now, the girls are all standing on stage. They're standing beside a dance bar, like one of those bars in like a ballet class, and then there's just a glittery curtain behind them. So it's all like, the whole theme is performance, but we are performing on a stage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that ballet bar I feel is real classic Pussycat Doll Lounge. For sure.
Okay, the performance starts. Anastasia's gold lame dress, it just keeps on riding up, doesn't it? But she looks amazing.
Yeah, and Mikey kind of says, "Oh, Anastasia's visibly uncomfortable." I don't think she looked visibly uncomfortable. I thought her dress had ridden up, but I don't think she looked like she was tugging it down or looked like annoyed about it. I thought she looked great.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a real like bombshell, to use a word, don't you think?
Yeah. I thought she was fantastic. Now, Chelsea to me here, she's kind of like dancing around like a wet fish, but she does sound great.
Yeah, she's doing some real limp lettuce choreo, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. I've written here, because remember, I don't remember anyone's names. High kick gal doesn't sound good.
Mariella. Yeah.
Got it.
So I wrote, come on, Mariella, leg kick. Yeah, what she lacks in vocals, she makes up in dancing. She's really the polar opposite of Chelsea. We'll see
Oh.
that the dynamic play out later. But yeah, that was pretty amazing. She did it, but she did a leg kick while she was singing. So she basically did a standing split kick while she was singing, which was amazing. And then right at the end of the performance, she did the classic, whichever one of the Pussycat dolls stands with their leg completely raised up. Can't remember her name.
Kimberly or the other one that we never remember which is which. I've written Melissa S. sounds bad. I said Asia goes for it, runs. Great movement.
I put Asia sounds shaky as hell, but I loved her dancing.
Oh.
Like I was her like grandmother. Loved her dancing.
Loved her
really
dancing.
nice.
Now then the audience are told to vote for their favorites. Now this is the part that really gets me. Like just bits of scrap paper everywhere, and with like a biro, they're just circling names. How on earth do the audience remember who they're voting for? Oh, I like the one in the gold dress. Oh shit. Oh, I think her name was Melissa something in the gold dress. I don't even remember their names. So meanwhile, the gals, they nip upstairs and they're in a suite at Caesar's. This is so fun.
Presidential suite.
Presidential
Thank you very much.
suite. I love this. This is that classic thing of young people being in an utterly gorgeous suite and being so excited. They're screaming, they're running around, and they're just having a blast.
So the president at the time was George Bush. So it was technically they could have been at any point they could have been sharing that presidential suite with George Bush because he was president at the time.
Oh yes. If he'd come into town that day, they would have just been like, like, oh, someone's coming through the door. It's probably Robin. She's got a key for everything. Oh no, it's George Bush. Hi.
And then he could have come and auditioned for the group.
Yes, and then he could have like voted for one of them as well, and that would have been not uncomfortable at all. So
the Bushy Cat dolls,
pretty good.
Thank you.
Oh, and also they could play on votes, presidential, and the presidential. So much going on there. Okay, so then the girls gather around a piano. In comes, she's obviously got a room key. Robin trots in, and she reveals who is the winner. Now, I would have done this in reverse order. Just to stir up a bit of shit, I would have said who got the least votes to the most votes. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. It's another missed opportunity for sure.
Okay, so the results are in. Who wins immunity?
Melissa S. This is some bullshit.
I know.
I don't think she should have won. I thought Melissa R sounded really good.
Yeah, I'm just looking at my notes. Yeah, didn't even make a note on her. So she couldn't have been good or bad. Sorry, Melissa R.
Wow.
Melissa S wins immunity, and then they all go have dinner in another room at a very low table. Now, in the presidential suite, was there not a dining table? I feel like there should have been.
Yeah, there should be a dining table that could accommodate 6 people.
Yeah.
Top 6. So this is where we have yet another food scene, another of the theme of this episode, sexiness and food. So kind of Chelsea's making snide interview remarks about Anastasia, eating dessert, ordering lots of dessert, because basically they're getting kind of presented with dinner and it looks really nice. And then, the kind of their butler, I guess, is telling them kind of what the dessert options are. And she's just eating it, but so are other people, but they're just focusing on Anastasia.
I know. Meanwhile, Asia, she just wants chicken fingers. She just wants chicken fingers. And others are calling her diva. And then she does such a glorious thing. She eats a burger in bed. Oh.
Well, before that, she even more gloriously, she orders she orders a burger and fries, goes and sits in a hot tub in like a mood. So being like moody in a hot tub is pretty glamorous. And then she slinks out of a hot tub and eats a burger and fries in bed. That is the dream, right?
In the presidential suite at Caesar's in Vegas.
Yeah. Next to George Bush.
George Bush aside, the rest sounds great. In the year 2008, sold.
Oh, gorgeous. Okay, so we cut to the next day and we're going to have song assignments. And Robin announces they're going to be duets. So I called them sexy duets.
Yeah.
So the first one is going to be Anastasia and Melissa S. And they're going to be singing
Unbreak My Heart. Oh, that was really bad. Oh dear.
Okay, I'm going to take a run at it.
Okay.
Unbreak my heart.
Say you love me again. That's much better. In terms of
Yeah,
duet,
you got it.
thank you. You
Yeah.
really led there. Then we've got
Undo this hurt that you cause when you walk out the door.
So then
Okay.
next up we've
Then
got Chelsea and Mariella, and they're singing I turn to you. And that's all we know.
yeah, everything has been redacted
Yeah.
by the Secret Service, Xtina's Secret Service. And finally, Asia and Melissa are going to be singing I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith.
Now, when the way they announce this is, and then finally the song I Don't Want to Miss a Thing by Aerosmith, all the girls at the same time go, oh. I'm like, what?
Yeah. It was a real thing in 2008, wasn't it?
I guess.
This song was big, big, big. It feels like this, even though, okay, bear with me, this is a weird analogy, but even though Bryan Adams is Canadian, I feel like I Don't Want to Miss a Thing is the US's version of Everything I Do by Bryan Adams in the UK. It feels like one of those songs that probably was
Yeah.
like so omnipresent when it came out that it's just like everyone's favorite song.
What was the movie it was in? It's a movie I've never seen.
Oh, Deep Impact?
Is it? No. Is
No,
it? It's space.
It's the one with Liv Tyler. Is it Deep Impact or is it Apollo 13?
I think it's
19?
Apollo 13. Apollo 19?
Hang on, I can't.
Wait a minute, we have to get this.
Oh, it was written by Diane Warren. Armageddon.
Armageddon, a film I've never seen. Don't they all just die in the end of it?
Yeah.
But that's
I
the
think
thing,
so.
like, I don't think I need to watch it because they all just die. I know what happens. Oh, have you ever been on the Aerosmith rock and roller coaster that used to be in Disneyland?
Oh, yes, I have. Where they blast Aerosmith music and really like confuse you.
Oh, it's so good. I think they've
So
changed it now
fun.
to like a Marvel something, which is a shame, but that was
Oh,
real
Apollo
one.
13 was a film. It wasn't Apollo 19.
What was Apollo 19? I don't think
I
Apollo
think
19
it's nothing.
existed. Yeah.
And Deep Impact was another film. I mean,
Yes.
come on.
Yes, of course they
There
were.
was a lot of meteorites crashing into Earth in that kind of period of time. Anyway.
We're back in the loft in the Sunset Strip. Now, Chelsea and Asia, they're now wrestling, kind of play wrestling on a pink carpet.
Yeah, they said they want to blow off some steam. And this actually, I loved this. It reminds me of at university when I lived in halls of residence, translation, dorms. I lived on a really big, long corridor. And there was one night that me and everyone, a big group of people I lived with, we decided to do kind of like we called it the gauntlet. And we kind of based it a little bit on the TV show Gladiators. And we kind of used pillows and we made basically an obstacle course in the corridor. And then some of us played like gladiators and we had pillows in our hands that we used to like hit people. And you basically had to like run down the corridor and get past the gladiators. And we would be like wrestling people. It was so much fun.
Was there anyone in the corridor who just stayed in the room and didn't want to be involved?
Oh yeah, I lived in a corridor of maybe 20 rooms. And I'd say there were 10 of us out there. So a solid half of the people hated us on that floor because we were all like wild and loud and annoying. I'm completely on their side now, but at the time I felt great.
Yeah, totally. Age 19, few drinks in you.
Yeah, powerful.
Yeah. Okay, so the girls clip-clop into the dance studio and we meet vocal coach Valerie.
Sorry, I'm laughing because my notes are they clump into the dance studio to meet Valerie. Really clip-clomping in there. It's like clump, 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 clump.
Valerie, now she's a curious creature.
Yeah, she's a real blast from the past, isn't she?
Yeah.
Well, actually, not even a blast from the past, because don't you feel like when you live in LA now, there's a lot of kind of mysterious glossy blondes of an indeterminate age slinking around Hollywood, aren't there?
Who might just be like a hologram or like a puff of smoke or something.
Yeah. I bet she lives in Sherman Oaks.
What do you think?
Thoughts, feelings? Where do you think she lives?
I think she might live somewhere a little more mystical. Like back then, she might have lived up some sort of canyon, maybe Topanga.
Right. One of those like that kind of arty place, like a little artsy kind of colony on the way to Malibu.
Exactly.
Perfect. Well, Valerie from Topanga Canyon, yeah, she is going to be doing some vocal coaching with them. And she's basically, her whole thing is like, hey, I heard you're all tired and I'm going to be working on trying to kind of push through tiredness, which I thought was actually a useful skill for once.
Yes. Yeah, it was good. Now, she can't even recognize the song Asia is singing. I've written
I
down.
don't want to be a thing. I'll close my eyes to see if I dance surrender.
And then Asia really has her moment here. She's cracking, and it genuinely is like a sad moment because she's talking about missing her daughter. It's like, oh God, this is really sad. She's cracking, she's missing her daughter, and then she just says, and I'm PMSing.
Yeah, and Chelsea's like, Asia's really complaining and really going on and on. I'm like, she's 18, like, come on.
I know.
Like give her a break. And she's PMSing, so cut her some slack. It did feel a little bit like I loved how she was so annoyed with that vocal coach, but she didn't let her know it. I thought that was really funny. Because that vocal coach was like, you're doing so many runs, I don't even recognize the song. Anyway. So we get a real brief glimpse before it gets redacted of Chelsea. Chelsea's talking about how she needs to rest her voice because it's kind of, it's cracking, and Mariella's like, oh, I'm really worried that she's losing her voice. So we do get a very brief glimpse of Chelsea not being able to hit the. Hang on, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
She goes for the "You're the one who I can run to." Thoughts, feelings? Did I hit it?
I mean, you haven't lost your voice, that's for sure. Do you always remember
this kitty cat is still purring?
Wow.
So Anastasia and Melissa have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
This is tough. Trying to do Unbreak My Heart. This is a lot of them talking about who's singing over who and who's going under who vocally, right?
Mm-hmm. And as we find out later in the performance, it starts very low. So if you don't start off right,
so low. Like I don't even know I could go as low as Anastasia had to go at the beginning. Well, I mean, at some point she's just whispering. But anyway, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
So Anastasia, she also talks about channeling her anxiety. So she goes on a treadmill.
I said, stop this immediately in my notes. It's like, shut the cameras off, leave the girl alone.
And then there's just a lot of them in their duets just practicing. Imagine being in that loft with 6 people singing 3 different songs with different parts, like all over the place. Oh my God.
A lot of caterwauling.
Yeah. And then I've just written here, Chelsea thinks she sounds like a man. And I wrote in all caps, as a man, I'm offended by that.
I actually missed that bit. I feel like that was redacted from my my copy as well.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Xtina really got to all of this, didn't she? How did they not?
Xtina's at home on like Final Cut Pro, just clipping things in and out.
Okay, so should we go to performance day?
We should, where we're going to see our fearless leader, as announced by Mark McGrath. Here's your fearless leader, Robin Antrim. And I just wrote, true. I think she's a fearless leader.
Mark McGrath and his tiny little nostrils back again. That pinched little nose.
And then we've obviously got the 2 other judges, Ron Fair and Lil' Kim. Still a great booking.
And I like the customary, Mark McGrath greeting the girls on stage. Hiya.
Hi, girls.
Like, you look great, ladies. Thanks. Well, we've only got 2 out of 3 performances to look at. So let's start with Asia and Melissa are doing I Don't Want to Miss a Thing. I wrote, my first note is, I hate this song.
My first note is entrance through hanging beads.
Gorgeous. Very buttons. Very buttons.
Or like that.
Doesn't Nicole like hang from a beaded curtain in buttons, doesn't she?
Probably rolls down it. Or that Britney commercial where she sees the fortune teller. Doesn't she go through some hanging beads?
She does. I loved that entrance. I thought this performance looked really good.
Yeah.
They both looked very sexy.
I wrote, Melissa sounds good. Asia sounds good too. Asia's doing her own thing. And then Melissa R fucks up and cries.
My review of it was, I hate this song. Melissa R sounds great and looks great. Then I just wrote Shouty McShouterson for some bits. Then I write Asia's hair, bump it. And then my other note, Asia sounds like a strangled cat. Ron Fair isn't happy. This isn't a duet. Melissa cried for her grandma.
Yes. So at the end, they're like, oh, why, what was going on? Are you okay? And she said, oh, she's just thinking of her grandma. And then Lil' Kim earns her entire appearance fee with one sentence where she says that she had to perform 2 weeks after Biggie died.
Yeah, that was powerful.
That was like, wowzers.
But you agree with me, right? It wasn't a duet. It was one person coming out and singing, another person coming out and singing, and then two. I guess it's because she wasn't singing because she was crying. But I'm just, I don't believe that there was many points that this was a duet and it wasn't just two people singing a song separately.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take that. Mariella and Chelsea singing I Turn to You. Now, we have no clue what happened because Xtina was busy with her Final Cut Pro sniffing it out of the episode.
Shield from the storm, for the will to carry on.
But it doesn't start well. We do get one bit, which is, when I'm lost. And then it just cuts out. I was like, oh no, doesn't sound great.
I know. I really, really, because it's Mariella that came out first, wasn't it?
Oh, who knows? I don't know who each of them are.
Well, Chelsea can pull off a Christina Aguilera song.
In Chelsea Banks.
Very early in this podcast, maybe it was even to podcast nemesis Michael, I said to him, I'm really excited because I know at some point Chelsea sings I Turn to You and is really, really good. And we got robbed of that.
Fucking Christina.
Anyway, all we really need to know about that is that Ron Fair tells them they need to stop singing in their schnoz. And he keeps going like up to it, really scratching, and he's like, the mask, the schnoz, stop singing in your schnoz.
Oh, Ron.
Do you think I sing in my schnoz?
Sing in your schnoz. No, I think you sing in your heart.
And my dreams. Okay. And now let's start with the final performance of Unbreak My Heart by Anastasia and Melissa S.
I'm going to get a reclining chair and I'm going to wheel it out onto the stage. So, Melissa Ash and Anastasia singing Unbreak My Heart. It starts with Anastasia sitting sideways on a chair. Beautiful beginning.
Yeah, gorgeously posed in a very kind of Flashdance-esque, pulling the water over herself in the chair kind of pose.
Yes.
And she starts out in an incredibly low register. Don't leave me out in the rain.
Wow, that was good.
Thank you. I've got the range. Listen. I think I could 1 second I could be don't leave me out in the rain, and then I could go unbreak my heart.
Say love me again.
Love me again.
Wow.
No, okay, my neighbors are like, fuck you right now. So angry with me.
I think I'd only be able to perform that song after a night drinking. Like the next morning. Like when I sent you a voice note last weekend and I'd been out the night before and you were like, whoa. It was
like, hello, this is bad. And I was like, oh my goodness me. Unbreak my heart. Yeah, and you did inexplicably sing the beginning of Unbreak Your Heart to me over a voice note. But hey, who knew?
I just wanted to prove. Okay, so what's going on in this performance?
So I think that they gave. So basically, I thought Melissa sounded pretty good, and I thought they actually sounded pretty good together. It really like they sounded fine together, but it was very odd. Like Melissa came out and she just kind of like fannied around on the stage, and it was very strange.
She first of all, she had like a blonde clip of hair in her hair, which was very distracting, and then she was doing a sort of very wide-legged walk around the stage, like she'd done a shit in her pants.
I guess she knew she couldn't be eliminated, so she was like, whatever.
Yeah, she's just way too young for this song.
Yeah, completely. Yeah, because I feel like Anastasia actually had the kind of the gravitas to pull off this song. Maybe just unfortunately not the pipes.
Yeah,
but I did feel like that they really like did a cop out version of the song. Like there really wasn't any of the like really big moments from that song. I felt like they all did like the weird lower register version of it.
Well, I think the main cop out was when Melissa S came to sing, and Anastasia did a slow walk over to a pole, and I was like, oh my god, are we going to get like a gorgeous, really slow, elegant pole dance? And that didn't happen.
Oh, that would have been gorgeous. So I've actually seen 2 ballad pole dances in my life. Strangely enough, I've been to 2 separate like strip clubs and seen 2 female kind of dancers do it. One was to California King Bed by Rihanna.
Oh.
And it was this amazing, this pole dancer. She did like this kind of topless routine to it. It was so good. I was literally like tipping her so hard, but for all the right reasons.
Yeah.
She was just literally like, you know, especially because it's got that real like electric guitar in it. So she's like, in this California, and she was like whipping her hair around. It was so amazing. And then I saw a slightly less polished performance to Parachute by Cheryl Cole.
Oh,
Let me tell you something. Every straight man in both of those strip clubs did not appreciate either of those song choices. I don't think they had a clue what those songs were. I mean,
I would
Parachute and California Kingman are some niche releases from those two artists.
could have been Russian roulette. Could have been Russian roulette.
That's true. Or 3 words.
Or Kylie's chocolate. I think for any of those performances, I would have just been sitting there just slowly weeping watching those.
Honestly, the California Kingman one, I think I might have got a little tearful because it was so beautiful.
Oh, gorgeous. Okay, so that happens, and then we're gonna get to the elimination. We've got those boas. They're gonna have to be hung up. Can't keep them. What's happening here, babes?
So we hear that Melissa R and Asia get through first. So essentially are told they're the winners, even though that's not the way they do that on this show. And next we hear that Anastasia and Melissa S are safe. So that means Chelsea Bangs and Mariella Legkick are in the bottom. So this is a pretty clear case of one of them can sing, but she can't dance. The other one can't dance, but she can sing. What do we do? And, you know, Robin seems like super torn about this one because, again, she loves Chelsea's voice, but she basically keeps saying, I could put Mariella into the Pussycat Dolls right now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, I feel like she's almost made a rod for her own back with this thing because she's kind of saying like, well, look, the person who's going in is not going to do any singing, so it doesn't matter. But because she's made singing, you know, they've made singing such a part of this show, she's kind of like, shit, well, I guess I can't just do that because that'll be really obvious that they're never going to sing anything apart from, you know, if they go rogue at, you know, the World Fashion Awards or whatever and start singing, oh, loosen up my buttons, baby.
Listen up my button, babe. So Robin, she announces, Mariella, go hang up your boa. And you're right. Robin's torn. She's crying here. And she says something like, it's sad because you're beautiful.
Yeah, she is. It's so sad because you're so beautiful. It's like, all right, Robin. It's like, I'm pretty sure you can find Mariella some other work in one of your little side projects you've got going on in all your many Pussycat Doll rip-off projects that she tries to get off the ground. We'll get to that in, you know, season 2. Pussycat Dolls presents Girlicious.
Well, she could just like, I don't know, like be the landlady of the loft, you know, in between seasons.
Well, that's true. She's making money from that loft all times.
Yeah, so someone's going to look after the keys. Maybe like Marielle could go do that. So that's it. That's it for this episode. But we find out that next week, 4 of them will perform with the Pussycat Dolls.
That puts a lot of people on that stage. That's way too many people. How many is that? 10?
Now, bearing in mind, I can't remember the name of any of these contestants. And in Pussycat Dolls, I obviously know who Nicole is. And then there's Kimberly and the other one who I can never remember which is which.
Ashley.
And I now know who Carmi. Hey, Carmi. I know who Carmi is because she's got the red hair. But other than that, I'm lost.
Well, you've named everyone apart from Jessica and Melody.
Yeah, that's 2 people. And I don't remember anyone in this competition. So
how many people does that make it? How many people did you just list? Hang on, Nicole. How many people are there in the Pussycat Dolls? 5?
6? 5.
Oh, it's 6, remember, because it has to be an uneven number, like Tom said. So there's 6 people in the Pussycat Dolls, and they're going to add another 4. That you can't have 10 people on stage. That's insane. No, that's 11.
Well, hey. I think sometimes a lot of people on stage at once works well. I'm just going to say thank ABBA for the music.
That's true. They just had it was like the anniversary of that recently. I saw that on social media. What a great performance. Look at me now. The only time I like ABBA's music is during that. Anyway.
So that's it.
Oh, what a wild ride.
So we've got
Speaking of this episode, I'm going to go and eat some food.
So thank you for listening. You're going to get 3 more episodes of this, an episode every week, and you'll get your regular You're Welcome America episode every other week. And we've got a few more tricks up our sleeves coming your way in September. It's fall. you know, got some fun things for fall. Fun fall.
Autumn.
Autumn. There it is. Do get in touch on Instagram, Twitter, and email, and we will see you soon. Bye.
You are right up my street.
Oh, you can't make me choose.
Igo by Toyota sponsors T4.
Fuck me, Lee Ryan's 13.
I remember we couldn't remember the word for table.